Hey, it's Mr. Barr, and we're gonna go look in the back of my truck. Here we go. Oh, that's what I'm looking for. There it is, right there. So right here, I have a lock, and it's one of these kind of locks where it's got all these numbers down at the bottom. So could we unlock this thing just by going through every possible number? You know, I could start at upside down. It's upside down. So I could go with, I could start at 0, 0, 0, 0. Let's see, is that the combination? Is it 0, 0, 0, 0? Is it? Nope. And I could try 0, 0, 0, 1 and 0, 0, 0, 2. And I could just keep trying all these possible combinations until I get it, right? So that's something I could do. But would it be helpful if I told you at least what the first two numbers are? Would that get us a little bit closer? So this is what factoring is. It's an idea of kind of just, I don't want to call it a guess and check, but it's checking a bunch of different combinations to see which one will work. Now, this lock has, I think, what's that, 10,000 possible combinations? Or it's either 9,999 possible combinations or 10,000 possible combinations. I think it's 10 to the 4th power. So it's 10,000 possible combinations. Now, there's a lot of possible combinations to try, but I'm not going to try each one. On factoring, we're going to get it down to some possible combinations, and then we'll test it to see which ones actually work. All right, so that's what we're going to be doing here. Factoring, trinomials, and testing the possible combinations to figure out which one works. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hey, this is Mr. Barr, and we are going to be factoring some trinomials with a leading coefficient, and everything we're going to do today is going to be positive. We've been factoring things already, but this time we're going to throw an extra number into the mix. So polynomials can be used to model real-world situations, and solving polynomial equations is something that we're going to be doing in the next unit, and factoring is a tool to solve polynomial equations. So we're going to learn how to factor some more complex trinomials. So here's this lock. And if you watch the intro video, I was in the back of my truck and I was figuring out how to unlock this lock. Now there are actually 10,000 possible combinations to this, and I could go through every one and try to unlock it that way, but it'd be really difficult. Now, would it be helpful if I told you that the first two numbers were either a 1 and a 4 or a 2 and a 2? So what I'm talking about is right here, if I told you that this number right here was either a 1 or a 4, or I'm sure that it's a 2 or a 2, would that make it easier to unlock this thing? And the answer is yes. That actually limits it down to, let's see, I've got 2 possible combinations here and another 100. So really what I just did is I narrowed it down from 10,000 possible combinations to just 200. I don't know why I put a comma there. 200 possible combinations. Well, what if I told you that the last two numbers were a 1 and a 3, or a 3 and a 3, or a 9 and a 1? Would that make it even easier? So what did we have at first? We had a 1 and a 4 and a 2 and a 2. So now I know this. I know this is a 1 and a 4, or a 2 and a 2, and this is either a 1 and a 9, or a 3 and a 3, or it's a 9 and a 1. Would that make it even easier? Yes. Well, we started with 10,000 possible combinations. Then we got it down to 200 possible combinations, and now we're down to just 6 possible combinations. So these are the possible combinations: 1 4 1 9, 1 4 9 1, 1 4 3 3. So these are the possible combinations to unlock this thing. We would just have to test each one to see if it actually works. This is what factoring is. So when we look at this guy right here, let me draw on this. I could multiply this thing out, right? Jump, jump, crawl, crawl, and that takes me to 2x squared plus 8x plus 3x plus 12. This is old material. So I have 2x squared plus 11x plus 12. So the idea now is, how do we take this and get it back to that? How do we take this piece and get it back? And what's new this time is that there's a number right here. That's the new piece. You see that 2 right there? That's the new piece for this lesson. Everything we've done in the past, there wasn't a number here. Well, there actually was a number. It was a 1. But now we're going to change it to a 2 or a 4 or something. So how do we do this? Well, let's find out how to do this. All right, we're ready for our notes. So in our notes, we're about to do this piece right here. So get your notes ready to go, and let's start with your name at the top. Name. And our title for today is Factoring Trinomials with Leading Coefficients. All positive. So factoring trinomials with leading coefficients, all positive. And the first one we're going to do is the one that I have shown here, the 2x squared (11x) plus 12. And this is going to start off the same way that we did the other ones in the earlier videos. It's going to start right here. I need to list out all the ways to make a 12. So how can I make a 12? 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. Those are all the possible ways to make a 12. Now, what are the ways to make a 2? Well, it's 1 times 2. And what we have here right now are 3 possible combinations. Unfortunately, each of these, when they get flipped over, is actually another possible combination. So I'm going to flip each of these. This is also going to be 12 and 1. 6 and 2, and 4 and 3. Now the question might be, hey Mr. Barr, why don't we flip this one also? Well, when we flip this one, we're not getting anything new to try. I either flip this side or I flip this side. Either way, I don't have to flip them both, because then it actually becomes a redundancy. It actually doubles up the number of possibilities, but I'm not actually getting new possibilities. Hopefully it'll make sense when we keep going with this. So I just flip this side. Now what I actually have are 6 possibilities. The combination is either 1 and 2, 1 and 12, 1 and 2, 3 and 6, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 12 and 1, 1 and 2, 6 and 2, 1 and 2, 4 and 6. There are 6 possibilities to make this thing work. So what we do now is we have to start testing. So I list out the possibilities, and now I have to start testing the possibilities. So how do I test this? What I do is I take a pair. So let's start testing. 1, 2, 1, 12. I test it with a happy face. 2 and 1 is 2. 1 and 12 is 12. Using a 2 and a 12, can I get to an 11? 2 plus 12 is 14. 12 minus 2 is 10. No, it didn't work. Let's test another one. Let's test, and you're doing this in your notes, people. You're still doing it with me in the notes. Let's test 1 and 2, 2 and 6. 2 and 2 is 4. 1 and 6 is 6. Using a 4 and a 6, can I get to an 11? Sorry. No, I can't get to an 11. I can get to a 10, or I can get to a 2. Doesn't work. So hopefully you're going to get to the level where you can just test it up here. Let's try this. Ready? I'm going to test it. So it's actually testing inside, outside. Inside, you can't see what I'm pointing at. Inside, outside, inside, outside. That's what I'm testing. Here we go. Inside, 6. Outside, 4. 6 and 4, 6 and 4. Is that getting me to an 11? No. So we got to test our flips. Ready? 24 and 1, 24 and 1. Did that get me to an 11? No. 12 and 2, 12 and 2. Did that get me to an 11? No. Ready? 8 and 3, 8 and 3. Yes, this is the combination that's getting me to an 11. I'm testing my inside and outside. This is the combination. So how do we take that and turn it into the two factors? We're going to call these the x's. And these, because look, see the x's? They're x's here. And these guys are the not x's. So here we go. We're about to build this. We know that there's going to be an x right here. Let me zoom out a little bit. So I know this is an x and an x. What's my first x? Well, it's a 1x. What's my second x? 2x. See, these are my x's. What's my first not an x? 4 and 3. And since everything today is going to be positive, we'll put a positive and a positive. We just factored this. Let's see, does it work? Let's test it. 2x squared. 2x squared. 12. 12. 8x plus 3x. 8x plus 3x. 8x plus 3x. 11x. It worked. Okay, that's it for the notes. But now we're just going to do some practice. So, same way, the originals, I flipped it each term right away. So I did 1 and 12, 12 and 1, 2 and 6, 6 and 2, 3 and 4, 4 and 3. In my notes, I did a little bit differently. I did it in a different order. I listed everything out, and then I listed all the flips. Either way, I had a total of 6 possible combinations. And then I just keep testing it and testing it until I find the ones that work. I'm testing it. I'm testing it. I'm testing it. I just keep testing them until I find out which one that works. So I keep testing. And then once I found the one that works, my first 2 are my x's and my second 2 are my not x's. And I built it. Okay, so those are the notes we just took. Now, does this take a lot of time? Yes. Is it complex? Yes. Does it grow your brain? Yes. Are difficult things worthwhile? Yes. So here we go. This one we're just doing for practice. This is not in your notes. Your notes are done. Let's start testing it. All right. So I'm going to test. Let me get my drawing tool. Start testing things. 3 and 1. 1 and 10. That takes me to a 1 and a 10. A 1 and excuse me, that takes me to a 1 and a 30. A 1 and a 30. Did that work? Nope. Let's try another one. 3 and 1, 10 and 1. That takes me to a 10 and a 3. Did that work? Did that get me to a 17? Nope. Didn't work. What do I have to try now? 3 and 1, 2 and 5. That takes me to a 2 and a 15. A 2 and a 15. Is that working? Yes, it's this one right here. This guy. And that guy. So what number I'm going to put right here? What goes right there? The 3. What goes right here? The 1. My x's, what goes here? My not x's, 2 and 5. So there's the answer to it. 3x plus 2, 1x plus 5. Okay, let's do this one. Start listing things out. What are some ways to make a 5? Ways to make a 6. And then flipped. All the possible ways of making it. Start testing things. Let's test the 1 and the 5 with the 1 and the 6. Well, that gives me a 5 plus a 6. 5 and a 6 doesn't get me to a 17. That doesn't work. Let's cross that out. 1 and 5, 2 and 3. Well, that takes me to a 10 and a 3. That doesn't get me to a 17. Let's try a 1 and a 5, a 6 and a 1. That's going to take me to a 31 or a 29. That doesn't work. Hopefully it's this one. 1 and 5, 3 and 2. Takes me to a 15, 16, 17. Okay, so these are the ones that work. These two are my x's, and these two are my not x's. Let's build it. 1x, 5x. 3 and 2. See, does it work? Well, I can test it right here. 1x times 5x is the x squared, 5x squared, so that worked. There it is. 3 times 2, well, that's the 6. That's working. In the middle right here, there's a 15x. That's not a very good slope or swoop. A 15x and a 2x takes me to my 17x. So that worked. All right, let's try this one. So I could go with 1 and 3, 1 and 2, 2 and 1. Let's start testing it. 1 and 3, 2 and 1. Well, that takes me to a 6 and a 1. Hey! Oh, I don't know why I started with this one, but this is the one that works. It was this one and that one, and it works. So my first x is 1. My second x is 3. My not an x is 2, and my not an x is 1. Let's see if it works. 1x times 3x is 3x squared. That works. 2 times 1 is 2. That worked. And this gives me a 6x and a 1x, which is my 7x. That worked. And that is my last example. All right, excellent. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.